As a reminder, please silence your cell phones. For guests and visitors, my name is Steve Parley, Club President. I'd like to welcome you all to what I think is the 39th meeting of the 48th year of the Dublin Worthington Rotary Club. I've officially lost count. Today's invocation and pledge of allegiance will be offered by Mr. Pete Barnhart.
Let us pray. Creator of the universe, creator of our world, Earth. Thank you for creating 7 diverse continents that are inhabited by 8 billion people. 1.25 million of those persons are Rotarians. Please bless all people with safety, peace, comfort, provision, good health, friendship, and love. Today, thank you for the food provided us with. Bless the preparers, providers. Amen.
Thank you, Pete. Mr. Jim Farmer. If you would introduce visiting Rotarians and guests.
Well, apparently we have no sheet to report this. Visiting Rotarian. Visiting Rotarian, Jerry, were you in Rotarian?
Would if I could, but I can't. And so he's a returning visitor. Of course, I wasn't here. And even if I were, there'd be no way that I could remember his name. That's because, not because of my age, but because I'm Jerry Katz. So now I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mohammed. I am visiting. Well, I've been here before, but my original club is Marietta. I'm in the process of moving to the Worthington Dublin Rotary.
Emily, who came from the Marietta Club, and I think the Marietta Club is gonna be a feeder system.
Absolutely.
I see that Jim Allen brought the better half of his family today. Would you like to introduce her?
Yes, this is my first wife, first one. You know her. We'll try to have her give a few words about Clay Hill School and common community.
Excellent. Thank you. Welcome, Ursula.
Rotarian at this table, would you like to introduce yourself?
Talk about the great work that she's doing at Slate Hill.
Also, because she was recognized her last week as the volunteer at Slate Hill Elementary School.
I'd also like to welcome former member and future member. Yeah, welcome. All right. Let's go to announcements first. You have announcements, please make your way to the front. I'll start. As you've heard me say week after week at this point, Polio Plus is still going strong. So if you've not already made your $100 contribution to the annual fund and $25 contribution to Polio Plus, there's still time to get it in this year. If you'd like to help, help doing that online, quick and easy, let me know and I'll help you. Right now, I think we have 24 out of our 75 members that qualify for Polio Plus, so that's great. Harry, come on up.
The Worthington Resource Pantry is going to put on a food drive from the June 1st to the June 15th. You get double your donations because in fact the Harding Bowler Foundation has agreed to put $1 in for every pound of food that we do. I'll actually bring some boxes to make it convenient for you, or if you'd like, you can bring the food to the pantry itself. Thanks very much. Again, June 1st, to June 15th.
Excellent. Jim and Ursula.
Most of you know Ursula, and she volunteers through the efforts of this club at Slate Hill Elementary School in the Worthington School District, 1 day a week. And she's a super champion elementary school teacher, and they're really lucky to have her. And she's going to give you just a few words of what she does and what she sees. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Is that what you're supposed to say? Thank you, Jim. I really don't have a lot to say, except that it's well worth doing. And if any of you are interested in doing it, you all could do it. When I walk in there at 8 o'clock on Tuesday, which is my day to be there, the teacher is ready for me and welcomes me and says, here are the papers, call these students. And so I'm out in the hall, and there are usually two chairs, and I sit in the third one or stand up behind them or whatever. And they read to me and I read back to them, and we change and get vocabulary drills. And we don't play many games because she's got me pretty scheduled, which is pretty exciting. I am a school teacher and have been and have taught in many places. So I can't quit. Okay. So not only do I volunteer at Slate Hill, but I also volunteer at Salem Elementary School. And they are both third grades. And it's kind of interesting to see the difference between the Worthington City School and the Columbus City School. And they need me way more at Salem than they do at Slate Hill. However, because of the pandemic, there have been children that haven't been identified when they were in the 1st and 2nd grade. And now they're in the 3rd grade and they're still not reading very well. And this is the crucial year to make that happen. So it's really good. The teacher is great. So sometimes I get to read to the students, and sometimes I, get to help her sharpen pencils. Really exciting. Sometimes I'm able to really help organize some things. Like the other day, I had to collate and count papers, and there were probably, 450 papers that I divided into groups of 30 so that they're ready for next year. Okay, it's amazing the work that they do. If you have any questions, I could answer questions, but really there is just the idea that you have to enjoy children and be patient. And other than that, it's not really too tough. Yes.
How many days a week and how long for?
I'm there Tuesdays from 8 until noon. So it's 4 hours a week. And I'm at the other school. They don't start until 9. So I'm there from 9 until 12 on Thursdays. So I do it 2 days a week. And the effort that, Salem doesn't really have, because it's not a city school for you, that you're more interested in Worthing City schools than you are in Salem schools. But 3rd grade is, it's all about writing and practicing. We still have some children that need phonics. I'm not the only Rotarian that works there. Christy is also there. She's been helping in the library. But I really enjoy the work with individual students, and I can probably tell you the names of the students now in that class, all 28 of them. Huge class, right? So. Yes.
So Ursula, I kind of have a comment just to kind of encourage other people to help. Ursula is a super volunteer and she's there 4 hours every week. But if you just wanted to work a half an hour or an hour, every other week, you could. The teachers would be thrilled to have you. And if you can't be there 1 week because you're gone or whatever, you just let the teacher know, right?
Yeah. She's been very positive, because I really have tried to be there and to not blow it off, right? Just because I don't feel like it. So she said, it's amazing that you come every week. Well, it's not really amazing. It's what I do and I love it. So it works. Yes.
So what interesting stories can you tell us about your students? Or what have you learned from them?
Well, they've come to respect me, okay, in the sense that, you know, that they know that when they say, oh, my mother's 40 years old, how old are you? And I say, well, that's really not very polite. So, and I tell them stories that from my childhood and from their, you know, my experience with our own children. Like they might be writing a story about snakes, and so I have a snake story that I can tell them. And they're writing right now diaries, and it's goes with a book that's called The Diary of a Worm. And so they pick their own animal, and they're writing about the diary of the hedgehog, the diary of a bird, diary of a dog. And so, you know, 3 things my mother told me never to forget, those kinds of things. We have some children that have, you know, issues with behavior and things like that. And then they'll come and hug me and say, you're my favorite teacher, which, you know, I mean, I see them once a week. I'm not really their favorite teacher, but it has to do with the fact that they know I'm not going to be there tomorrow, right? So. Yes.
I just wanted to make a comment that I spoke with Julie Gully, who's the principal at Slade Hill, and she is very appreciative of Rotary's support and Ursula and Christie's support. And she actually invited us to have one of our lunch meetings at Slade Hill sometime in the future, if that's part of the plan we have going forward. They also, so that would give everybody an opportunity to be in the school and maybe have teachers come in and express things that they would like to have help with. And then the other thing is there's a couple service projects she has going on, and she said, I haven't been able to get help on a couple of things that need done. And she's gonna make a list for us and perhaps share that, and we can, things like where the playground meets the soccer field, the water lays in there, and she just wants somebody to help landscape that area a little bit. And if we could get the maintenance department to bring the materials, we could help fix it, and she would really appreciate that kind of stuff. So, but Julie is really appreciative of everybody's support.
And she's great. You know, it's nice to come in and say, hello, Ursula, how are you? Right? Whereas, well, I won't talk about the others. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It's amazing to hear the great work that we're doing and the recognition we're getting in the community. That's fantastic. Thank you, Ursula. As a segue, since Ursula's basically working in Rotary under the name of Rotary, you should consider joining our companion club, which I forwarded a link to the video to Jim, so make sure she watches that. Speaking of, I did have that meeting on Monday. I had probably a handful of interested people on the call and another handful off the call that I'm following up with, so good progress is being made there. Other announcements. District Governor Price Finley sent out a message, I think last week, inviting interested Rotarians to join him at the Stonewall Columbus Pride March on Saturday, June 17th. The step-off time for that is 10:30 a.m. It's $10 to register, or if you spend $30, you can register and get a Rotary Pride t-shirt. And this is a chance to connect in camaraderie, service, and fun with Rotary and Rotaract members throughout our district. And so if you'd like to attend, please check your email. You should have a note from him in there. Also, this is the 4th Wednesday of the month, right? Yep. So there's a 5th Wednesday, and we will be having a rah-rah at Court Chapman's house from 6 to 8. I believe there was an email sent from Christy with the address and details, so looking forward to seeing everybody there. And finally, I think, as I always say, if you've got news that you want to disseminate to the club through the newsletter or social media, please send it to pr@dublinworthingtonrotary.org and we'll get it together. All right, now I think we're ready for our sponsorship drawing. Mr. Jim Miller, if you would come on up.
I'm the blindfolded guy.
So as you all know, we have a little smaller drawing because we did very well on the urban. And so we're drawing for a little less than what we have in the past, but it's still significant. So there are 3 prizes. The first that we'll draw for is the 250. And what we do is we draw the ticket. If more than one person is listed, we'll then draw a letter. Except for in the case of the very last one, which if we draw that one, we will have to draw the ticket. So, Aaron? Apply your equipment, I would appreciate it. When you play golf?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, 37.
37. Jerry Katz. That's actually the Mercy Katz.
Guys, no, I'm on a roll.
Mercy. It's Mercy.
Oh, it's Mercy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. We put that back in. Yeah. Yeah, because.
You have in front of you. 250 third place. Yeah, I want that part.
33.
33, Ted Embush.
Ted, you are the proud winner of $500. Okay, is not here today.
You got to be present, right?
No. And for the $750.
Is this the last prize?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Big and deep.
71.
Yeah.
This is like the Price is right wheel where it like. Todd Weissman.
Okay. Well, I brought my camera to take a picture of all the winners and I'm glad to retire my camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can take Jerry.
Well, now that a few people are flush with cash, I think it's time to bring our sergeant up and bring some of them back home. Mr. Katz, if you would, please regale us with some badges.
Find yourself? Why would I find myself?
All the winners.
Well.
No, we don't.
I know who's buying the beer at the golf outing, right? Yeah, more like chest. Well. Gotta have somebody, now, can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, that's too bad. I'm gonna ask Alan Zink if he will carry the pot. And of course, he'll say yes. And I was gonna ask for happy dollars, but
since no winners are here, there's probably nobody with a happy dollar except Al.
Well, Jerry. On Sunday, May 28th, 57 years ago, Louise walked down the aisle and changed her name from Barrett to Zink. That was a mistake, but anyway, 57 years, one checkbook, I've never had it. And he hasn't thrown me out yet, so 10 times 57, and I rounded up to $6.
Thank you very much. Peggy,
Okay. I have to turn this on because that's $5. Get this right. Our granddaughter, Johanna Huff from New Bern, North Carolina, she moved down there just 4 days before school started, so she had to leave her family or her school friends and whatnot and move. And she joined the junior ROTC. And yesterday she was given the Chuck Fletcher Hard Charger Award presented to one cadet in the program for Coastal Submarine Veterans Association for hard work, dedication, and achievements. The Stephen Decatur Award for Service Navy Association for demonstrating the Navy's core values of honor, courage, and commitment. She became a Distinguished Cadet Award for instructors, Award of Merit presented by the Retired Enlisted Association for outstanding leadership. She earned a ribbon for her uniform, and finally, her dad, a Marine veteran, got to pin her. She was awarded Cadet Petty Officer third class. So wow, real happy.
very good.
Like that. 21st last week, we celebrated 45 years of being married of 2 girls and 6 grandchildren still together.
Very good. Very good. Congratulations.
It seems like after 50 years of Debbie putting up with me, we should do something. As Jim alluded, we've been gone for the last month on a cruise and then bouncing around France, Belgium, Italy, and England, and now we're happy to be home.
So you don't have any money, is that what you're saying?
It's all foreign currency. It's all euros.
Euros in there?
Yeah.
Hey, pots are getting big today.
Well, after you put in your whole allowance, what else can people do? Any other happy dollars? Yeah.
Yeah, I have a happy dollar for Steve. He's down to his last club assembly and his last month.
Jerry, I have another dollar. Embarrassing. Our grandson was awarded his 5th varsity letter in his junior year. So and then also he got the academic awards.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Anything else? Okay. It was mentioned up here that some of the things that were being done in the school was that you kind of wrote down the 3 things that your mother told you. And the only thing I can remember that my mother ever told me was, don't leave home without money for a phone call. Well, that's long gone, isn't it? You can't find a payphone anymore. And then I recalled a joke that I had heard from Art Carney. Now, this is going back a ways, obviously. Art Carney was on Johnny Carson. Art Carney plays the piano. In fact, he played concert piano. He was really accomplished. On his way to on his way to the piano on Johnny Carson, he just couldn't give up his comedic personality. And so he told a joke on the way. I can't get over a girl like you, so you'll need to get up and answer the phone yourself. Now, you see, all of this humor is really back to the times that it's written. And so, of course, as is my habit, I'm not going to tell you what national holidays there are today. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about national historical events. And you're going to put in $1 if I instruct you to do so, if the shoe fits. There's just a $3 limit. So my prerogative, for those of you who have put in happy dollars, those don't count. Come on, you can't duck out like that. And so on this day in 1775, now that's going back a few years, isn't it? John Hancock was elected president of the Continental Congress in 1775. So if you've ever had an insurance policy, put in $1. In 1818, moving ahead, in 1818, Andrew Jackson captured Pensacola, Florida. I've heard there's some aviation facilities in Pensacola, but that's not where we're going. Where we're going is, if you've ever had a Coca-Cola, put in $1. In 1941, we're getting into the war, aren't we? In 1941, the German battleship Bismarck, now you remember the Bismarck, sinks the British battle cruiser HMS Hood. 1,416 people lost their life in that sinking. 3 people survived. If you've ever been on a cruise, put in $1. In 1967, the American Football League grants a franchise to the
1967.
Cincinnati Bengals. 1967, Cincinnati Bengals. So if you've ever been to the zoo, put in $1. Bengal tigers, row, Bengal tigers, they're at the zoo, some zoos anyway. All right, now I am also finding today Jeff Apple and George Norris because they were speaking and talking during the meeting. You can't do that and avoid the sergeant's wrath. Okay, now for the obligatory bad dad jokes. What do you call a factory that sells passable products? It's a satisfactory. I was really angry at my friend Mark. And the reason I was angry at him is because he stole my dictionary. And so I told him, mark my words. Number 33. I'm starting a new dating service. I'm really not that much of an entrepreneur, but I'm starting a dating service in Prague. It's called Checkmate. Look, I do the best. Yeah. Thank you very much for that, Jerry. Thank you for that, but not very much.
All right, I think we're ready for the main event. So, as you guys know, this is, our meeting for a club assembly, and the reason we wanted to have this was, I'm coming to the end of my reign of terror, and Teresa will be taking over, and so we thought it'd be good to take the pulse of the club and see how people are feeling and what they'd like to see for the future, and so we sent out a survey. The questions are all on papers at your tables. And so I thought it would be helpful to kind of go through some of these responses, just to give everybody a sense of everybody else's opinion. And then the executive committee and the board will take all this feedback and implement some changes. And so, the first question that we asked was, what do you like about our club's approach to Rotary? And so we have things on here about, the amount of opportunities to spend time with others. Yes. Meeting and camaraderie, Polio Plus, other local missions to help others. Our club seems to take seriously all areas of service that RI prioritizes. In-person and Zoom options, working on increasing community service options and social events are great. I enjoy the people, and the majority feel the same about doing the right thing. Good programs, good people, good service projects. Active and responsible committees, social events such as rah-rahs. That we embrace all avenues of RI. Doing good both domestically and internationally. Hybrid meetings, club structure, the board executive committee, working in action, and administration committees. And hands-on involvement with community international projects. And our club has a strong tradition of service to the community with integrity and action. An emphasis on club member engagement. Yes, fellowship, friendship, good programs, that we are service oriented. There's, the dedication of a large number of folks and a variety of projects throughout the year, and that we have interesting programs. Again, another one for international service, our efforts abroad, our focus on service, innovation. I like our service projects and meeting locations. I'm pleased with communications, most programs and social events. I like the emphasis on service and having fun doing it. Emphasis on community improvement, including international. And I like that we are always looking for ideas to raise funds. We support each other's projects and we have a friendly atmosphere. So there's a lot of good feedback in there that I think, like I said, the executive committee and the board will kind of distill down and take some action on. So I'm going to get through all of this and then we'll have a little activity. So some of the things that people put that they dislike about our club's approach to Rotary is, there are a lot of emails. That's something that I've struggled with. And it's hard to tell which ones keep me informed versus which ones are requiring me to take action. Feeling of busyness just because we did it before, and we need to maybe prune a bit. It may not be practical in a financial sense, but perhaps the end of Rotary year event could be in a nicer venue, such as a country club, which we actually are doing this year. Don't like that we have more meetings and planning than doing actual service, which I understand. Wish there was a way to make the club more attractive to younger people. Somebody had no complaints. That's great. Not a systematic way to include new members in club activities. We haven't been able to lately involve enough members. Hope for a more strategic, sustained effort toward recruitment. Some struggles with getting some members to take leadership in the operation of committees and projects. Emphasis on giving funding for district and other general initiatives, like we're being asked for too many things. Too much emphasis on having a speaker every week. Not innovative enough. Somebody thinks that we do a good job. Only about half our club is engaged. There's some reluctance to get engaged in the club or club activities. Rah-rahs are at the wrong time of day for working members. Limited reach out into the community. It seems like leadership has to do all the work. Being inflexibly stuck in old paradigms, the world changes, so must we. Not enough people meeting in person. Somebody's got a real problem with the golf interference. And staying on Zoom. People need to meet face to face. It was needed during the pandemic, but time to move on. And it takes way too long to induct new members and present their blue badge. So there's definitely some themes in there. Membership, maybe cutting some red tape. So there's some good ideas and notions in there. And then down to the third question, what is the one thing you think would make the biggest impact in enhancing our club's value to our members? New member onboarding. There's still a lot of things that I'm unsure about. Increasing the reach of the bourbon raffle, that's our, newer fundraiser. More service opportunities. Getting more people in the community to join, another membership one. Go back to all in-person meetings. More populated committees, envisioning better projects. Strategic marketing plan with a clear vision of who we are and what we do. Find new ways to improve social interactions among members. More social activities, less formal meetings, figuring out how to get members to bond and friendship. It's more difficult to say no to a plea for assistance from a friend. Providing more opportunities for hands-on project engagement and social interaction. Revamping, strengthening the onboarding process, another membership one. More service work, projects that are group oriented. Getting new members on a committee, so kind of membership onboarding. Encourage everyone to be active on at least 2 committees, which is it's in our policy, but it's not been enforced lately. Bringing back more in-person meetings, so another in-person one. More local service projects with more publicity in the community, and we need to identify the unique benefits of being a Rotarian. More effort of inclusion with and for new members. Seeing firsthand the impact of the club's work, persistently showing why Rotary is unique. Service. Finding a compatible meeting place. The York Party Room is just too big for socializing at lunch. Continue to encourage member involvement in service projects. This is why most members join Rotary to begin with. Require member participation in service activities. That's around engagement. And then keep everyone involved. Ask them personally to help with the project. Another one about engagement. So again, some more kind of themes in there. Moving on to the second section. So one of the things that's come up recently at the executive committee and the board is just kind of changing our meeting format. And I think some of the answers we just heard to the previous 3 questions kind of indicate there's an attitude for that. So the question is, we have noticed a significant number of members have not been, or I got ahead of myself. We've noticed a significant number of members have not been eating lunch. Which of the following would you recommend? And so surprisingly to me, the biggest answer, and maybe we phrased this question wrong because there's like a zillion one-off answers. Have the meal delivered from a source that members would choose online from a menu every week. An additional 13.8% said increase the price of the meal and choose higher quality selections from our present vendor. And the third place answer with 2 was find a new higher cost vendor to cater the meal. So about, we'll call it 40% of the vote was raising the price and increasing the quality. And then we have some other responses around haven't been attending enough to be able to help. Don't know, I don't eat lunch. I don't participate because of transportation. I usually get lunch, so my comments are, so non-eaters' comments are more important. Another vote for higher quality food. Somebody says get rid of lunch, keep lunches as they are. I like our current situation. Charge everyone a meeting fee regardless of whether or not they attend or eat, aka increase dues or drop lunch altogether. This person said, my former club signed up everyone annually to eat or not, and they pay a fixed meal charge every month if signed up to eat. Prefer to bring my own lunch. Happy with the food. Get rid of the food. And so, yeah, there's definitely some trends in there, but the one that I'm seeing is we kind of need to get off the fence on what we're doing now. Moving on, there was the opportunity to comment on that. The first one is basically saying, it's always an option. So if people want to eat, they can order online, and visiting members are out of luck if we go that route. I try to eat something for lunch every day, so I choose to support my club and eat lunch during our meetings. However, I'd be very interested to hear from everyone why they either choose to eat or not to eat. A point about lunch cost is already too high for some members. If we switch to 2 meetings per month, will lunch be a more affordable option for members? Good point. I feel that too much emphasis is being put on lunches. We're losing focus. Ordering meals and billing for them is a burden put on a few club members. Not everybody knows that. We need to understand why members are not eating lunch before taking action. Box lunch, when I've not eaten lunch, it's because I had something I didn't like. Somebody will always choose not to eat. And new members and some on a fixed budget find it hard to spend $12 on a meal, which I think is it 16 now? Yeah, yeah. The cost is a concern. Moving on to our last couple questions. So the age-old question of should we keep or get rid of Zoom? And of the respondents, there's kind of a 2-to-1. Let's keep it. Good to know. I was a little surprised by that. Some of the points to get rid of it, I think, are it decreases the setup time and complexity if we get rid of it. But on the other side, the pandemic is over, so we can return to what we used to be regarded as a normal face-to-face meeting. I like the option to attend online if I'm out of town or if I have work obligations. Some people travel or need to stay at home for health purposes. And somebody said, well, Zoom is the new meeting means. If we want younger members, we need to join their world. And we should not look at virtual attendance as a problem. Engagement is the real problem. Let's continue to offer virtual accessibility as an alternative to in-person attendance, but use it to recruit new members. We may need to define the mostly virtual member as a class and take steps to engage that class. This action will demonstrate and encourage interested members to attend meetings. Some members are unable to attend meetings in person, like our recent transfer. I like having Zoom as an option when I can't attend, but I also understand that unless we eliminate it, we will not see our in-person attendance return to pre-pandemic levels. Zoom does make it too easy to stay home or at work. And so taking all this into consideration, the feedback that we're getting, one of the main questions that we posed at the executive committee and the board was this idea of switching the meeting format to a twice a month, having speakers like a meeting like this, and then once a month having a service project, and then once a month having an opportunity for committees to meet. And there's a lot of ideas in there about how that would work, but conceptually that's what we're posing. And then we would keep our 5th week socials rah-rahs. And so of everybody that responded, I'd say 70% like the idea, 25% either don't like the idea or they're not sure and they want more information. Some of the comments for that question are more things after work hours are generally better for me. This helps me with the busyness I feel, so it's more accommodating. I like the idea, though certainly would appreciate more information. This helps bring more service and less outside of Wednesday meeting committee obligations. I like the idea, sounds good to me. I lost track of Rotary's attendance policy, but we could keep the current format and give attendance credit for service project work and committee meetings. It seems to me the social idea is working as well as the committees I am familiar with. I think all clubs have the issues of certain members not participating very much, and with voluntary attendance, there's little we can do about it other than to encourage them to participate. I do think it is important to focus on quickly integrating new members into club projects. This would allow for committees to expand and for us to go off-site for community service projects. A bunch of questions that need to be considered. Like how will the projects be managed? Will it be reported to the board? What are the metrics for success? How many club presidential terms will a project run, et cetera, et cetera. I think focusing on formats that will increase interactions among members will benefit the club. I like the idea of switching things up. I think a once a month social activity should be considered even if in combination with the service projects. More member engagement would not have to follow this pattern each month. 100%, cool. I proposed and I believe the exec committee is in favor. I like meetings as they are 4 times a month. This approach can encourage working on committees, try it for a few months and evaluate. I like the new ideas, they're great. An idea is to let's rotate the committee that has the service project each month. Interesting. I like to see the activities, but I'm sorry that it's difficult for me to participate. Committee meeting and subcommittee may require other places to discuss work, so that's an interesting point. I like the idea with one modification. Once a month, have social gathering, let committees meet when best suited to their members. I like attending weekly when I'm in town. Keep the present format, don't change it. I find this hybrid approach will likely improve member participation, including myself. Face-to-face meetings are important, and twice a month is getting more popular, but a service project each month could get old. I like the 5th Wednesday rah-rahs. So a lot of good feedback in there. Ideally, I'd like to have the rest of the club who hasn't participated respond, but hopefully, I know it was a lot, but hopefully you were able to pick up some themes and some kind of sentiment of how your other club members feel. And so what I'd like to do, I put the questions on everybody's table. I'd like for some of the tables to consolidate, although we're pretty good. Maybe the two over there can consolidate. I'd like everybody to pick 1 or 2 questions and just discuss for, 5 or 6 minutes, 5 minutes, it's 12:51. And share their opinions. And this meeting is recorded, so after the fact, I will transcribe those opinions. And we'll, if we can go quickly, just we'll share some sentiments. Assign the question. Well, I intentionally didn't want to assign questions. I want the group to pick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, whichever one jumps out at you. So go ahead and talk for 5 minutes. I will bring everybody back at 12:56 and we'll briefly go over something.
Are we supposed to talk about the different options, or what do you think?
Sure, Rachel, if you want. Sorry, I messed up. I didn't give you guys all the questions.
Can you put it in the chat room?
Yeah. Let me share that screen again.
Woohoo.
Can you see the questions, Rachel?
Yep, I sure can.
You and Al on the iPhone, so.
Yeah, Kip just dropped off. I don't know, Rich was on. I'm wondering if he's the iPhone or not.
I mean, when we'll get to it, if you have something you want to share, by all means.
Oh, well, I was surprised by the 2-to-1 saying that they keep Zoom. I was assuming that Zoom option would be gone, but
Yeah.
yes, I like that we're trying to be more inclusive with doing all the options, which it's difficult to do.
Yeah, I agree. $60.
I don't know how to get lunch. My boss will turn that. I talked it out. Oh, yeah, that's gonna be. I think one thing they do that for like. Not every club. Same thing with the. Yeah.
Oh, my video.
Are they people that think it's still better than doctors?
Just from that.
They don't. They're surprised. Something they might have paid for that they didn't know. But.
What we could.
All right, folks, go ahead and come back. Is there anybody that wants to volunteer to just kind of share what their table talked about? And maybe a sentiment that came out of it. Two or three volunteers. Harry. Can we, hold everything, please?
The non. One time period. Once a day, others. The others were different. They did it with. Another sentiment was, the trillion was. Actually very good because we had a variety. And the cost was per person who actually ate. That worked pretty well. Didn't know what that situation.
Unfortunately, not for them.
Because they don't want us.
Yeah. They're being nice about it. Sorry,
Another place like Trillion.
oh, we will. I promise. Anybody else want to volunteer and talk about what their table came to? Go ahead.
We talked about the food too, we think the food's fine, we all ate it today, and. I think, like Harry said, people aren't eating their other reasons they're not eating probably. I mean, part of it's fasting. It's fasting.
Yeah.
Eating lunch, but, what else did we talk about? The possibility of doing, maybe like a 5 o'clock service project once a month. We could roll that into a happy hour or something.
Yeah.
That'd be, I think something interesting to do, that would get people involved. I think it's gonna be difficult maybe to do a service project at noon on a Wednesday that's gonna, run 2 hours plus. So I need to look at that in the evening. What else? Zoom, I think Zoom should stay. Probably, there are people up there that we prefer them being involved, and we know that for whatever reason they can't be here certain days. It's great. Snowbird's going to Florida for 4 months. So,
Excellent.
about it.
Thank you. I'll take more, please.
We talked about the Zoom thing too. We thought there should be ways that we try to engage the Zoomers in meetings, so we did some sort of engagement. We talked about ways to follow up with them, to get them engaged in other activities, so we don't forget about them.
Yeah. Excellent, thank you. Nick, did you?
Yeah, we talked about the meeting schedule. Some of our thoughts was that, other clubs had, gone to 2 meetings and they've seen, better involvement instead of trying to get to 4 meetings a month. People were much more likely to get to just 2 meetings a month. We were a little bit concerned about finding maybe enough service projects each month. Also about maybe getting burned out if we're doing too many service projects.
Sure, those are all valid concerns. Thank you. I appreciate everybody's time. The reason I wanted to do it this way is because I wanted to make sure everybody had a chance to hear what other people were saying, because these issues that we're talking about and trying to solve aren't clear cut. And as you probably heard, there's strong opinions on both sides on a lot of these issues. So I'm hoping that you take away today that we're actively working on these as the executive committee and the board, and we want your feedback, and know that we're looking to make some exciting changes in the future to take all that into account. Yes, Alan.
Well, Steve, I just wanted to recognize your leadership and time and effort put into this survey. I can see, and it's obvious that it wasn't a quickie. We spent a lot of time on it. Thank you for doing it.
Well, I want to thank Jim Miller. We did. I came up with some questions and I said, Jim, can you turn this into a sensible survey? And he put them in the right one. So thank you, Jim. All right, with that, we'll get out of here with our raffle. Gary can't win. Throw your tickets away.
No, the worst can.
$31.
Ursula, will you,
That's okay for you.
yes.
Yeah.
Last four, 9, 6, 7, 8.
9, 6, 7, 8. Miller.
Last week.
And in the card drawing, there's $185. Whoa. Nine, 6, 6, 3.
9, 6, 6, 3.
$85.
Come on up, Ursula. You gotta come pull this card. Just pull the card and make sure it's not the ace of spades. Four diamonds. Thanks, Ken. If you pull the ace of spades, you win one. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. Let's conclude with the tradition of the four-way test. Well, it's gone, but I think iPhone knows how to say it. So, of the things we think, say, and do first.
Here's a good trick.
Second.
Here's a great law.
Third.
Will feel bad friendships.
And fourth.
Will be beneficial.
Thank you again, everybody. Please remember to turn your cell phones back on and put your badges back in the box. Have a great rest of your week. We are adjourned.